My name is Arjun, and this is the story of the night when I was sitting alone thinking about a business idea that completely changed the direction of my life. I was not born into a rich family. My parents worked hard every day to give us a simple and peaceful life. We never had luxury, but we always had love and respect in our home. Since childhood, I had one dream. I wanted to build something of my own. I did not want to spend my entire life working for someone else. I wanted to create a business that could help my family and give me the freedom to live according to my own choices. After finishing my studies, I started working at a small company. The salary was enough to pay my bills, but every month, I felt the same emptiness inside me. I would wake up in the morning, go to work, complete my tasks, come home tired, and repeat the same routine again. People around me told me that I was lucky because I had a stable job. They said, "Arjun, don't take risks. A safe job is better than chasing dreams." But deep inside my heart, I knew that I was not meant to stay in the same place forever. One evening after a long and stressful day, I came home, ate dinner quietly, and went to my room. The house was peaceful. Everyone was sleeping, and I was sitting alone near my window. The city outside was full of lights, but my mind was full of questions. I looked at my old notebook where I had written many ideas over the years. Some ideas were unrealistic, some were incomplete, but one thing was common. Every page showed my desire to create something. That night, I decided to think seriously about business. I opened my notebook and started writing. What problem can I solve? What can I create? What can people need? At first, my mind was empty. I stared at the pages for a long time. But slowly, ideas started coming. I thought about my own life. I thought about the problems people faced every day. I thought about how many small businesses struggled because they did not have access to good services and technology. Suddenly I got an idea. What if I created a business that helped small shop owners grow? What if I built something that connected customers with local businesses and made their work easier? It sounded simple, but in my mind I could already see it becoming something big. I started imagining everything. I imagined a small office. I imagined a team working with me. I imagined customers trusting our service. I imagined my parents smiling proudly because their son had created something valuable. Hours passed, but I did not notice. The clock showed 3 calls in the morning, but my mind was still running. I was no longer just sitting in my room. I was traveling into a future that did not exist yet. I saw myself failing. I saw myself trying again. I saw myself learning from mistakes. I saw myself becoming stronger. That night, I realized something important. Every big achievement starts as a small thought in someone's mind. The next morning I woke up tired because I had barely slept, but for the first time in many months I felt excited about life. I started researching, I studied the market, I talked to people I learned about business strategies, customers, finance, and marketing. But dreaming was easy, building was difficult. When I told my friends about my plan, most of them laughed. One friend said, "Arjun, you are overthinking, just keep your job. Businesses are not as easy as you imagine." Another said, "Many people have ideas, but very few succeed." Their words hurt, but they also motivated me. I knew they were right about one thing. A business was not easy. Having an idea was only the beginning. I needed action. I started saving money from my salary. Every month, I avoided unnecessary expenses. While others spent their money on entertainment, I invested in learning. After work, instead of relaxing, I worked on my plan. Some nights I felt exhausted. Some nights I questioned myself. I asked, am I wasting my time? What if I fail? What if everyone was right? But whenever those thoughts came, I remembered that night when I sat alone and imagined my future. I did not want to spend my whole life wondering what could have happened if I tried. After months of preparation, I finally started my business. At the beginning, everything was small. I had no fancy office. I had no big team. I had only a laptop, a few ideas, and a strong desire to succeed. The first few months were extremely difficult. Getting customers was harder than I expected. People did not trust a new business easily. I sent messages, made calls, and met many people. Many rejected me. Some ignored me. Some told me my idea would never work. Every rejection felt painful, but I continued. I learned that success is not about never facing problems. Success is about continuing even when problems appear. One day something changed. A small business owner agreed to work with me. It was my first real customer. I still remember that day. It was not a huge deal for the world, but for me it was a victory. I looked at my first payment and smiled. I thought about the night when I was sitting alone in my room. That small thought had started becoming real. Slowly more people started joining. One customer became 10. 10 became 50. My small business started growing. But with growth came new challenges. Managing everything became difficult. I worked longer hours than before. Sometimes I slept only a few hours. There were moments when I felt like giving up. One night, after a serious problem with a project, I sat alone again, the same way I had done before. I looked outside the window. The city lights were still there. But this time I was not dreaming about starting. I was thinking about continuing. I realized something building. A dream is not only about having courage at the beginning. It is also about having patience after the journey becomes difficult. I decided not to quit. I fixed the problems. I improved my business. I hired people who believed in my vision. Years passed, and the company became much bigger than I had imagined. The same people who once laughed at my ideas started asking me how I did it. I never blamed them, because I understood. People often judge dreams before they become reality. They only see success at the end. They do not see the lonely nights, the failures, the doubts, and the hard work behind it. One day I visited my parents. My father looked at me and said, "I always knew you were capable of doing something different." His words meant more to me than any award or achievement, because my dream was never only about money. It was about proving to myself that I could create something meaningful. Years ago, I was just a person sitting alone in a room thinking about a business idea. I had no guarantee of success. I had no clear path. I only had a thought and the courage to follow it. That single thought took me to places I had never imagined. It taught me that every journey begins in the mind before it appears in the world. Sometimes, the biggest changes in life start from the quietest moments. A person sitting alone, a simple idea, a small dream, and the decision to take the first step. Today, whenever I feel tired or face a new challenge, I remember that night. The night when I was sitting alone thinking about business, and my imagination carried me somewhere far away, somewhere beyond fear, somewhere beyond doubt, somewhere I never thought I could reach. And that is how one small thought became the story of my life.